Alrighty everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We've been exploring downtown Detroit quite a bit and the surrounding areas. There's tons of old abandoned history down there. Me and a few friends have been going in and, rooftoping, getting up there, getting some sweet angles, cool shots and whatnot. So we're going to bring it to you today. We were at the Detroit Osteopathic Hospital, or the Best Academy School. They were both kind of combined there. That was one of the creepiest places I've been in personally. It was just so dirty, but it also felt like you weren't in there alone. And I think that was what made it so appealing to us. As we were walking in, we were just like, whoa, this is one of those areas that's touched by time, and you could see it. Like, there were so many old things in there as we just kept venturing deeper and deeper. Now, obviously, we took a few precautions here. We were wearing masks inside, and we do not destroy or mess with any of the property. We look at stuff, and that is simply it. So if you are going into buildings and doing this stuff, just so you guys know, do not be in there breaking things. That's not what we're here for. We're trying to capture little moments of history, little moments of cool rundown things, and all of the cool art concepts in there while chasing a little thrill, too. It is quite exciting climbing to the top of the roof, I'm sure. The rest of them would agree with me, too. A little bit of backstory about the Detroit Osteopathic Hospital. It was founded in 1919. Now, it is in the Highland Park suburbs of the Detroit area, so it's not technically downtown, but you still get a really nice view of the cityscape while you're there. The hospital started out in a converted house with 38 beds, and that was all donated by Mr. Philip Gray, who eventually moved into the adjacent house before the first major expansion of this hospital in the 30s.
When is it enough? How bad do you need that stuff? What's it all for? Why does it seem like you still want more? When is it enough? Turns out you don't need that stuff. What's it all for? Why does it seem like you still want more?
Now, as we walked up to this hospital, it was truly daunting how big the property was, and we all got pretty excited to go dig around. And as you can see, we were finding some old school books in there, just old computers, old typewriters. There was all types of stuff just left abandoned in there, and it really makes you wonder where that, those resources could have gone. But it also, gives you that little time capsule where you're just walking through things and you can see where time stopped in one place. The Detroit Osteopathic Hospital actually shut down in December of 1992. Now, the building sat there vacant through most of the 90s, but in 2004, it got a second lease on life. The Best Academy, a business entrepreneurship, science, and technology academy, was brought there. The first 3 floors of the west side of the complex were cleared and renovated into classrooms, which is pretty much what you had been seeing there, where we had been walking through and all that. There were tons of old books laying around, like we had said, typewriters, desks. You could just see where the school had been at one point. And then as we dug deeper, we finally found the hospital. But the school was open with some promise. The parent feedback of the school was pretty much negative at the time. And Best Academy closed in the summer of 2012. So the hospital and the school has been sitting there for about 11 years, vacant, just getting downtrodden and ran through. And tons of us going through it and getting those cool views of downtown and just being up on the roof, being able to adventure through there and see the time capsules going through history, which is, really fun for all of us. But we're going to go ahead and get into some more stuff here.
I fell down to earth from 100 miles away, and somehow I still make it work. But it's overrated and somehow played out. 3 doors down so you can't ignore it. I'll hunt you down like a Tyrannosaurus. My teeth are sharp like a great white shark. Let me taste that flesh, is my favorite part. Got an eagle beak with the ostrich feet. 7 spider eyes for every day of the week. Means I'm still at work, and while your bitch among the human beings. I fell down to earth from 100 miles away, and somehow I still make it work, but it's overrated and somehow played out.
This is nutty. Now, one of the main things about this hospital was the fact that it had one of the highest death rates in the entire state heading into the 90s, and a lot of doctors were looking for new jobs and new ways out at the time. Highland Park had plenty of need for this, but as it became a network of hospitals, they actually opened one of these osteopathic hospitals down here in Trenton that was just recently demoed. They're still currently doing some of it, but for the most part, it is gone now. I had some adventures in there during the, mid 2010s, like 14, 15. That was a cool little place, but obviously we weren't documenting much at that point. This hospital, though, has quite a long history. In 1937, they completed the 2-story Philip Gray Memorial Unit of the hospital, which increased the capacity to 100 patients. This also included modern x-ray facilities, surgical wards, operating rooms, and a modern communications system. And as they basically finished that up, they had already drawn up new expansion plans, and they were adding offices and another 2-story patient wing in 1943. As the city of Highland Park grew, the hospital expanded again through the 50s. 1950, 1953, 1955, 1957, and 1958. They added new buildings and additional floors onto the existing ones, which makes sense for us because as we were traveling, we were just like, holy cow, this property is huge. We ventured through most of the hospital, but it was tough getting to some areas of it because you had to walk really far and kind of remember where you were within the hospital to get back to where you were going. And by the 60s, the Highland Park city stopped growing for the most part, but the healthcare needs were obviously continuing. They had a 400-car parking garage that was built onto the north end of the hospital in 1966, which we had seen from the roof. It's pretty cool. At one point, the hospital had over 220 patient beds with over 700 workers there, being the second largest employer in Highland Park. But, as the saying goes, all things must come to an end. History always takes its course, and pretty much everything comes to a finale. And we've seen the finality of this hospital's usage, the school's usage, and it's likely going to be demoed at some point, like many of the buildings in downtown Detroit and the surrounding suburb areas. It seems that that's a trend going on right now with the Bob Lowe boat terminal that they're tearing down. They're tearing down the Packard plant. They just tore down the other osteopathic hospital in the other suburbs of Trenton. So it seems like a lot of these abandoned buildings are getting torn down right now, and we're super grateful that we get to go and experience some of those little historic moments for a little bit of time, go through them time capsules, capture the last of all these cool murals, and most importantly, we just get to adventure. Adventuring is the most fun, guys, so stay tuned for more because we got plenty.